with my very best friend from Skull Crease, we formed a band. Two acoustic guitars. He was on lead vocals. I was on backing vocals and lead guitar, playing all Cure songs. Later, I was in some post-goth bands. The music was derived from Cure, but we didn't play any covers. I wore black, and I guess that's influenced by The Cure and, Robert Smith. Robert Smith has really great musical pedigree. His older sister was an exceptional pianist. His older brother had an extensive record collection. And when Robert, like in 1967, Robert was listening to Jimi Hendrix. And later, as all the Pink Floyd albums came out, Robert was able to get them all straight off the press. And indeed, in 1972, July, he had Starman Epiphany. And, influenced heavily by Bowie, and I intersect with David Bowie from practically every conceivable angle. One of, the Cure formed in 1976, basically coming out of the first wave of punk new wave in the UK, like Buzzcocks, Sex Pistols, bands like that. They were their kind of primary influences. But a formative influence for Robert was when he joined Susie Sue's band, A Stern's Digression. When I was around 10 or 11, we were having a party, and my mum went and bought a James Last album and an ABBA album. And just as she was approaching the counter, the guy said, "Madam, it's 3 for 2. So let me give you this album also." And he put Susie Sue's first album, into the bag. And that was the first rock album that came into our house. And it was amazing. And the guitar player in Susie Sue's band, John McKay, had a significant influence on Robert Smith in terms of his modulation, his, the phasing, the flanging, the chorus in his sound. Indeed, he influenced The Edge, and influenced one of my other personal favourites, Jesus and Mary Chain. And he's been cited by my old school chum, John Frusciante, as a serious influence and innovator. But also the next guitar player in Susie Sue's band, whom Robert Smith directly replaced, John McGeoch, a major influence, a formative influence on Johnny Greenwood, and indeed his favourite guitarist, I believe. He had to learn all McGeoch's parts, and that kind of made him very technically proficient. But I kind of always liked The Cure, with their kind of driving bass and drums, and their kind of pop ambient guitar, and Robert's kind of lachrymose vocals. But Robert is very versatile. He can play jazz, he can do soundscape stuff, he can do instrumental stuff, and I saw them recently, and they were absolutely fantastic. The next question is, do I intersect with Robert and The Cure? And I actually do in quite a few ways, but here are the kind of two primary ones. Loveless by My Bloody Valentine. That's in my top 3 all-time favourites. Also with the Boards of Canada, and also with Robert Smith. And I intersect with My Bloody Valentine via Liam, with Colm and Kevin. And ironically, when Robert had a chance to meet up with Kevin, Kevin told him when he was making Loveless, they were influenced by The Cure. And also that The Cure was a formative influence anyway. And Robert was kind of astounded at that. Another more direct intersection is Robert was invited to play at David Bowie's birthday party in Madison Square Garden. And Robert's song several songs, and he was accompanied on piano by Mike Garson, and Mike Garson was on and at Peacocks on the one with Paul Bley and Barry Altschul. Again, Robert Smith, some of his recent collaborations have been incredibly successful. I mean, he's on the most recent Rolling Stones album, but in particular the collaboration with Churches, who are a fantastic Scottish band. I thought that was an incredibly successful collaboration. You know, he did incredibly well there. But the intriguing thing about Robert is that people that he has influenced, it's kind of we kind of circled back around again, and they have influenced him. Like obviously my Bloody Valentine, and also the Cocteau Twins, who were influenced by The Cure, and they ended up influencing him also, which is again to much chagrin and intriguing. But shout out to Robert for being such an amazing guy, an amazing influence, an incredible musician, and thank you very much for listening.